What is up, MFers? Obviously, the tone and the direction of this video is going to be much more serious than my usual happy, fun fishing video. So the title and thumbnail did not mislead you. I had an event last week where I was out fishing and I very easily could have lost my life. I was not far away from losing my life and had to be rescued, taken to the hospital, locked up. It was absolutely terrible, terrifying event that I'm going to share with you guys. Point of sharing this with you guys, of course, is to explain what happened to me. I know a lot of you guys have been wondering since I posted a picture of myself in a hospital bed, and also for some educational purpose, so you guys can maybe help in this situation. If you're ever faced with it, can help you get out of this situation. So I wasn't really sure how to begin this video, how to kind of put this video together. It's been several days now, and honestly, it's going to be really difficult for me to get through part of this video. Unfortunately, there was a news story that had to be done on myself in this situation because of the severity of it. So you will be seeing some clips from the news story. Some of the pictures, the video clips was going to kind of help me narrate and maybe give you guys a little better understanding of the situation I'm talking about here. So I figure in order for this video to make sense, I'm going to have to show you some of the fishing clips. I'm just going to kind of narrate my way over these clips to explain what the hell was on our minds, what we were doing, and how I got myself into this situation. So if you're from Omaha, Nebraska, you know the lake Branched Oak Lake. This is the biggest reservoir in our area. It's not a giant lake, 4,000 or 5,000, couple thousand acres is all it is, but it's a decent sized reservoir. So there's a marina dock. There's a big floating marina dock. I don't know how long it is exactly. I'd say it's probably about 150 to 200 feet long from where it starts on the bank out to the very end of it. Now in between there's probably about 50 feet of just regular floating dock, and then there's boat stalls, probably 10 to 12 boat stalls off the side, working the way out to the end. Now in Nebraska, last week, last Friday is when this incident occurred, there was not really any safe ice thick enough to fish on. All the ice fishing stuff you've seen has been me going up north 5 or 6 hours away. So Josh and I, Porn Stash as you guys may know him, decided that we were going to go out and we were going to do some fishing off of said floating dock. Now there was probably a half an inch to an inch of ice in this area. If you guys ice fish, you know you definitely need at least 2 to 3 inches of good, clear, strong ice to fish on, if not 4+ inches. So the ice was thicker at the bank. It's about an inch thick. At the very end of this marina dock, about 150 feet off the bank, it was only about a half inch. So we decided that we're going to do something that Porn Stash has done in the past, and that is take ice fishing poles, ice fishing flashers out to this area and just vertically jig off of this dock. Now there's ice there, so what we needed to do was reach down with our feet. It's about 2 feet from where we're sitting on the dock down to the water, kick a hole in the ice, very simply, drop our bait down and get to fishing. Not rocket science. There's actually been some really good fish caught doing that, but it was an easy way for me to go out, hopefully film a video catching some fish, because the open water situation hasn't been the best with the water 35 degrees, and like I said, the ice hasn't been safe to fish anywhere else. So we're out there fishing through the ice on our vertical fish finders there. We're catching a bunch of little, they're called white perch, and then a bunch of little crappie. You know, not the most desirable species of fish, but we're catching fish, and we're kind of just working our way around, covering water, kicking new holes and stuff. Totally bundled up, because it was brutally cold this day. It was probably 15 degrees outside at the warmest point, and the wind was blowing 15 to 20 miles an hour. It was freaking cold. So I had thermal pants, I had long johns, I had this other new pair of long johns on underneath those, 3 pairs of thermal socks, my winter boots, I had a long john top on, a thermal shirt, a pullover, a hoodie, and then my Milliken fishing jacket and stocking hat and gloves. I mean, I was freaking bundled up, basically just pulled on my ice fishing clothes from the days before. So pretty close to 11 o'clock, Josh, which I knew going into it, Josh had to leave to go pick up his daughter to watch his daughter for the rest of the day. And at that point, I'm freaking cold. I caught enough fish to make a little video. So I was like, I want to stay out and catch a couple more fish, maybe try to catch something big. So I'm going to put a little bit bigger bait on, fish it for about 5 minutes. I'm going to go to the end of the dock. I'm going to shoot an outro on my big camera, get the hell out of there and go warm up. So Josh has to leave. He heads home. About 5 minutes later, I'm jigging my jigging thing around, my bigger blade bait, not catching anything. I'm like, screw it. I'm going all the way to the end dock, time to film this outro, get the hell out of here, go warm up. So I turn off my chest camera because I'm about to just talk to the big camera you guys are looking at right now. and I got out to the end of the dock, and like I told you guys, the ice is thinner out there than it was where we had been fishing. And so when I go to kick through the ice, it's much thinner, I break through a lot easier, and to be completely honest, it's kind of a blur what the hell happened, but my momentum carries me through the ice and I ended up into the damn lake. Not good, obviously, because the water's probably, I don't know, just warm enough to not be frozen, but there's ice on top of the lake still, so 34, 35 degrees? Not good. So first thing that goes through my mind, I'm basically just like, shit, what an idiot. How did I fall off this dock? I'm out here alone now, so that kind of sucks. I'm going to have to go warm up. I'm going to have to take all these damn clothes off, but I need to get out of here as soon as possible. Because let's get off on a little side tangent. I am obsessed with fishing. I'm obsessed with fishing videos and fishing in the extremes, and I've watched about every video ever created known to mankind about how to get out of a lake when it's icy, when you're cold, when you're ice fishing, when you break through the ice. You guys might be seeing this for the first time thinking I'm just some jackass YouTube kid, but I'm a fisherman at heart. I've been doing it for 25 plus years now, and I always feel like I'm prepared for any circumstance when I get on the water. Well, I wasn't prepared for what was about to happen. So basically, the way the docks are set up is there's about a 1 foot gap between the water and the dock, and then there's metal part, and there's floating black parts, which we're not going to really talk much about those. Those are just there to keep it float. You can't grab onto anything with those guys. So we got about a foot gap between the water and the metal part, and then these metal crossways bars start, and then about another foot you got a solid beam where there's wood on the dock going crossways. So that's your situation for getting out. Well, there's no boat cleats, there's no nothing, no ladders, nothing, anything, no poles, nothing to grab onto on the end of this dock. So I'm trying to pull myself out. And yeah, I'm kind of a fat ass. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I need to get on this treadmill like some of you guys are probably commenting like right now. But I can legit do 10 to 15 pull-ups right now. I could go crack out 10 or 15 pull-ups, no problem. Well, I was not doing one damn pull-up when I had all this water and all my clothes. I had my boots on that were full of water, and my body was getting numb and locked up immediately. This is something that I knew was going to happen when I was in the water. Immediately once I fell in, that I was going to lock up really quick. But until you've gone through that and you get in that water, there's no way you can prepare or be ready for how quick and how extreme that happens. I don't care how strong or how smart you think you are, there's nothing that can prepare you for it. So at this point, I can't get out. I start yelling a little bit, and I realize I'm on the main lake side. So it's the main lake out here, and then there's all these docks, and then there's a marina. Well, I'd seen trucks parked at the marina, so I'm like, there's people there. And for whatever reason, people go to the marina and work there in the winter, which later on I found out it's not an everyday occurrence, but they were there this day. So I'm like, I gotta yell and get their attention, but I'm way on the back of the marina dock. The ice is super thin back there. They're not gonna hear me over the docks. So my next thing to do was I'm gonna start working my way back towards the bank, breaking through this ice on top of the water in hopes that, one, I can just keep breaking my way all the way through, which I didn't think I'd be able to do. I figured I'd be numbed up too much by then because I already was starting to after a couple minutes. Two, get on top of the ice. So like I said, it was about an inch thick back by the bank, so I was hoping I could pull myself up onto it and then kind of work my way up onto the dock, get up on the dock that way. Or three, hopefully find something on the dock to pull myself up out of the water with. So I'm working my way underneath these docks, and I make it about 3 boat stalls down, and I'm just like, done. I got nothing left. Can't pull myself out. Can't pull myself up hardly. I found like this one spot that had a hose, which I think's on this news story, so hopefully you guys can see a picture of that. But I found a spot with a pole coming out and it had a hose hooked to it. And so I was able to wrap my leg up around the hose, which was right at the edge of the water, and then pull the hose up and wrap my arm. As you can see, got a nice little spot right there where I hung my arm up over the wood part of the pole. And at that point, I tried and tried and tried to get out. I'd been in the water probably 5 minutes at this point, maybe 5 to 7 minutes by the time I got to this part of the dock. And I was like totally numb, locked up, couldn't feel anything. I wasn't panicking because like I said, I've watched every video about not panicking and how important it is to keep your shit together when you fall in water like this. Mad props to the people that have made those videos, like Aaron Weeb from Uncut Angling. But like I said, it's much different when you go out in the winter. You cut a hole in some thick ice, you jump in on purpose in order to show your viewers how to pull themselves out with ice picks, as opposed to not having any ice to get on with ice picks and not being able to pull yourself out. You're basically screwed like I was. So that stuff's just running through my mind, along with everything else, of course, about your family, everyone that you love and everything. And I'm starting to get just absolutely terrified at this point. I'm pretty much in my head thinking, you're gonna fucking die. Like, you are probably not going to make it out of this water. If by some freaking miracle someone comes outside, the only thing you have left that you can do is scream and wave your arms. And so I was just screaming at the absolute top of my lungs for help in the direction of the marina. By the way, when I went in the water, my chest camera was off. I was just gonna shoot a vlog on this big camera to get the hell out of there. But when I was in the water, as my GoPro was dying and giving up on life as it got wrecked by water damage, it somehow miraculously kicked on and shot a couple clips, so you guys can hear the beeping and stuff, and shot a couple random pictures and stuff too. So that's why there are some clips of me in the water. So time's going by. I'm getting to the point where I was going through phases where I'm holding onto this pole and I'm just like, hold on, but I can't feel anything. And I'm just like slipping off into the water and then just building up enough strength and enough adrenaline to pull myself up out of the water, kind of repeating that process over and over again. At the same time, I'm yelling as loud as I freaking can, help, you know, get me out of here. I think probably close to 10 minutes in, I realized that I thought about it. I was like, you know, my phone, Apple, it's an iPhone 8. It's supposed to be somewhat waterproof, water resistant to a certain amount of feet or something. So my pants are extremely tight because I'm chubby and because I got all these different clothes on and because I'm wet. So I'm just like, with my numb hands, I can't feel, trying to paw my phone out of my pocket, and I can't get it. And then I just tried to get up and tried a couple more minutes doing that, and it's like, screw it, I gotta try to see if my phone will work. So I get my phone out, and my phone's on once I get it out, soaked and not acting right, but it's on. So I'm a little excited, so I'm like, good, I can't type my code in. I end up typing my passcode in with my tongue and trying to freaking call 911 somehow with this. And so I get 911 dialed and I go to call it and it says calling, I put it up to my ear, my face, speakerphone, whatever, and it wasn't calling, it wasn't going out, it wasn't doing anything, which I didn't figure would work, but I got super excited for a couple seconds, and then all of a sudden the screen just goes black, phone's done. So I throw the phone up on top of the dock, and I'm just like, at this point, like, no one's coming outside, I'm going to die. This is absolutely ridiculous. I ice fish. I've been ice fishing for my whole life. I've been open water fishing my whole life. I've been super freaking safe about everything. And I've got myself in this position where there's open water and there's ice, but there's not safe ice. But I didn't fall through the ice, but somehow I'm in this ice water. And now I'm gonna freaking die because this stupid decision that I've made and fell through. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm not giving up. There's no way I'm giving up on this. You got to pry me off this damn dock. I'm not going to drown. I'm trying to keep my body pulled up as much as possible to keep my internal organs, my major organs, out of the water so they don't cool down as fast, even though my arms are basically worthless. And I'm yelling, and out of nowhere, I don't know if I was going in and out of consciousness or everything was just kind of fuzzy, but I remember hearing two guys talking. And at that point, I freaking found the strength to pull myself back up to where I get my arm wrapped around this pole, and I look back, and there's two guys walking out of the marina. And I started screaming, and I was just, at that point, it was like a moment of relief and a moment of, oh shit, I'm gonna watch these guys walk by because they're not gonna be able to hear me. So I start screaming like freaking crazy, and the first time I screamed, I see both of them stop, and they looked out towards me, and I screamed again, and they both took off running in my direction, and that was like the most relieved I've ever felt in my freaking life. So these two gentlemen that work at the marina, for whatever reason, they were there that day. They said they didn't hear me yelling from inside. For whatever reason, they walked out, both of them, and they ran out on the marina dock. It took both of them to pull me out. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry, guys. I can't help pull myself up. I've got nothing, but they got me out. They both walked me to the marina, They stripped my clothes completely off, which, as you guys know, if you're familiar with this falling through the ice survival situation like this, you have to strip all your clothes off. You got to dry your skin off, and you got to get wrapped up in something warm as soon as possible. So they did that. They got me wrapped up. They were just grabbing like coats, t-shirts from the marina, whatever they can, wrap me up. Joe and Mike, two amazing gentlemen that I owe everything to. If you guys are watching this, you might be, I can't tell you how grateful I am, but I will spend a long time in my life trying to show you guys how grateful I am. I don't know what the hell you do for someone that saves your life, but if you're a part of Joe or Mike's family, know that you have an amazing person, a hero in your family, and I can't be more grateful for what they did for me. So as soon as we get back to the marina, Mike's calling the ambulance. He's calling 911. Telling them what to do. They're walking him through what to do. These guys are running around like chickens with their heads cut off, waiting on me, figuring out what to do for me. I couldn't even take my clothes off. I couldn't take my hat off, my gloves off, nothing. I'm just completely numb, just standing there like a freaking icicle. About 20 minutes later, the Raymond Police Department ambulance shows up. Meet some paramedics on the way, put me on a stretcher, got on the ambulance. Huge thank you to those people. You guys, amazing, amazing job, amazing people. The paramedics did an amazing job. Got me to the hospital. They did an amazing job at Bryan West Hospital in Lincoln. So once I'm on the ambulance, I'm still super, super cold. It was just like uncontrollable, shaking, shivering. They're wrapping me up in heated blankets, running an IV with heated fluids through my body. And by the time I got to the hospital, I was still shaking, but at that point, it was pretty much just my feet were completely numb, my hands were completely numb, and I was shaking, but my body temperature was starting to warm up a whole bunch. So I spent a couple hours in the hospital. After that, I was good to go. My hands and feet were still really cold, but I was able to go back home. In the days since then, I can't tell you guys how sore I've been. Of course, like my bruises are starting to go away now. It's been 4 or 5 days. But bruising, soreness, everything else that's gone along with this is so much better than the alternative. I'm so freaking lucky that this happened the way it did and that I was okay. My fingertips are still numb. My toes are still numb. I'm told that'll go away in time, and that my feet and hands are going to be much more sensitive to cold this winter, the rest of this winter, than they previously were. But like I said, beats the shit out of the alternative. And again, I can't tell you how thankful I am that those two gentlemen walked out, and I'm so lucky to be here talking to you guys right now. Whew, not easy to talk about this. Let's kind of talk about preventative measures that I think are important for you guys to understand. Like I said, and I'll link them and include them in this video, but Uncut Angling, Aaron has made some excellent videos. He's a crazy ass like I am, but I love him for it. But he's made some great videos on how to get out of ice, using ice picks, not using ice picks, what you can do. So that's super important. You know, the best thing you can do is try to get horizontal in the water. Always good to have neck spikes, which I will always have out fishing. Pull yourself up out. But I think in this situation, this was extremely unique. And so if you're outdoors around water, if you fish a lot, if you're an ice fisherman, if you're just an outdoorsman, if you like to hunt even, I think the most important thing in this situation to keep in mind was I was completely fine until Josh left. It's not his fault. He didn't do anything wrong. I should have left when he did. But as soon as he left, anything can happen when you're by yourself in these extreme situations and these extreme cold temperatures that you might not have any control. I could have just as easily, tripped off the dock and fallen in. I would have been the same situation, and that can happen to anyone. So I think it's important that no matter what, when you're outside, no matter how safe you think you are, obviously if you're ice fishing and the ice is 38 inches thick, you can drive a freaking semi-truck out there. Not quite as important, but it's important to always keep in mind how severe things can get when you're by yourself. For me now, the most important thing is going to be to get back out on the ice in the cold weather as soon as possible. And you guys might think I'm crazy for that. You guys might think I'm addicted to this job or I'm trying to meet deadlines or something. I've gotten so many comments and messages reaching out and wishing me support, which I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for doing that since I posted a picture of me in the hospital. But I've also got a lot of messages like, hey man, I was so worried this would happen from you trying to meet deadlines and get this content out. And I want to let you guys know that wasn't that at all. Like, I'm obsessed with fishing. I want to tell you guys a story every single time I go out. I want to get as much content out as possible. I'm addicted to the sport, and it's because it's my passion. I'm so passionate about this. I feel like I'm more passionate about this than anyone that you could possibly watch on YouTube, or let alone watch fish. I'm so freaking passionate about fishing. And so the people that are most important to me, my wife, my son, my parents, my close friends, they aren't even questioning whether or not I should be going out and doing this again by the water, go ice fishing. They understand it's something that I have to do. And so the biggest step is going to be getting back out on the ice and getting over that, because I am shaken up big time from this. It's not going to be something that's going to keep me off forever. It's really not going to be something that keeps me off the ice or away from the ice for any extended period of time. So yeah, that's what happened to me, guys. That's my story. That's hopefully you guys can learn from that, take something from that. I'm not trying to get sympathy or have you feel bad for me or anything like that. I made a mistake, obviously. It was stupid. It was my fault 100%. I assume 100% responsibility for it. I ended up spending about 20 minutes in the water. So that was very, very, very serious. That's a very long amount of time to spend in the water, and much longer than that. There's no way I would have been able to keep floating and hold on to the dock and survive. So I owe you guys everything. Thank you guys so much for reaching out, everyone that's given me love. Another super important thank you is to my wife and my mother for taking care of me. My mom came and picked me up from the hospital, kind of talked me through everything, calmed me down a little bit, and Becky, of course, Miss Milliken Fishing, is perfect as always and has taken care of me since then, as well as Max, of course, the dad master, who has been by my side as well. So where do we go from here? Well, show must go on, right? How about another fishing video tomorrow? I'm gonna do some more ice fishing. Need to get over my hurdle of my fear, that is. And so hopefully it'll be kind of interesting talking my way through that. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much with this video, but I thought it was a necessary part of what happened to me to share this information. Obviously, if you guys watch this video, you understand that my memory card did survive. So for anyone that makes videos using a GoPro, know that if your GoPro gets destroyed in water damage, or your camera or whatever, you take the memory card out. Usually it still works. I was able to capture all this footage, or a lot of it, even though some of it was messed up. Yeah, anyways, thanks so much for watching this video. I love you guys. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to let my foot off the gas pedal. Gonna keep making the best fishing content I possibly can for you guys. So I love you, and I will catch you very, very soon. I'm out of here. Peace.
Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Zach Worthington has more details in tonight's exclusive top story. Zach?
Megan, it happened just after noon today. A fisherman went out alone and fell off the boat dock. He was extremely fortunate that a couple of men in the area were there to help. A day of fishing turned into a nightmare for an area man. Raymond's volunteer fire department received a call just after noon about a man who fell into the water at Branched Oak Lake. Two onlookers who helped rescue the man say they were nearby at the marina when they heard cries for help.
Hear help, you know, I'm looking over there and see a guy waving his arm, so we both started running over there, and we got to him, and I mean, he was holding on for dear life.
He was in the frigid, icy water for as long as 20 minutes.
Thankfully, we were able to pull him up onto the dock and get him back inside.
The two witnesses say the man was looking extremely pale and had very little strength. He could hardly walk, showing an advanced stage of hypothermia.
I think the takeaway is to be with someone. You know, if we didn't by chance happen to walk out the door, you know, I don't think he was getting out on his own.